You shot a dog that wasn't doing anything. What's your problem?
I don't know.
That's not an answer.
Well, I did shoot the dog.
You had no right to shoot any dog.
This is Judy Justice. Michael and Perry Butler are suing their neighbors, Michael Welch Jr. and Lisa Welch, for vet bills.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 4024, Butler versus Welch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Butler Sr.,
Yes,
this is your grandson.
yes,
You live on a piece of property, a rural piece of property, and that property is owned by whom?
by me.
And you've owned that property for how long?
About 20 years.
And the defendants, are they tenants of yours?
No.
They live close by?
They have an RV parked on part of my property
With your permission?
with my son's permission.
So your son lives on the property with the defendants?
Well, he lives on the property.
Well, who's going to explain this to me? You're going to explain it to me? Come on, stand up. Your last name is Butler.
Yes,
Your father owns property,
yes,
and you live on your father's property
yes.
in a house or an RV.
House.
How do you know the defendants?
Just old friends.
Did you allow them to move their RV onto the property?
Yes, I did. Michael, I did.
Michael,
Father, yes.
that's you.
The one sitting down.
Okay, so you're friends,
Yeah,
and your father allows you to do that.
yes.
Just my own information. Do you pay Mr. Butler any rent?
Give it to Scott.
How much?
400 a month.
And your dad knows about that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And this beautiful dog belongs to you.
Yes, that's correct.
Have a seat. Thank you. Now, Mr. Butler Jr., you don't live with your dad or your granddad.
No, I do not.
According to what I read, and I believe this is right, there came a time when you were going away to celebrate a wedding of a friend.
We were going to my niece's graduation,
And what date was the graduation?
June 1st.
And so you couldn't take the dog with you, so you asked your grandfather and or your dad if you could leave the dog. And the dog's name is?
Ruka.
If you could leave Ruka with them for a couple of days.
Correct. Many times when we
How
traveled.
many days?
I believe it was about a week.
Okay, on what date, do you remember, did you leave Ruka with your dad?
I believe it would have been the 29th, and the incident was the morning of the 30th, if I remember correctly. Because we were leaving the day the incident happened. We were flying out, so we got a call that morning before we took off.
Okay, so this is what I think happened. Your last name is?
Welch.
Mr. Welch, you live with?
My mom and my father, yeah.
Great. And you have chickens and some ducks.
Actually, Scott's the one with the chickens and the ducks, and while he went to jail, I told him I would take care of the animals and not let any harm come to them. So,
So they belong to Scott?
yes.
Okay. You live with your parents
Yes, in a camper outside of the property, yes.
in a camper.
Yes, I live in a camper outside of the property.
Do you pay any rent?
No.
Nice people. You want them off your property or you want them on your property?
We've asked them to leave.
Really? The owner of the property wants you off the property. What's your problem?
My husband just went through hip replacement a couple weeks ago, so he's been down for 6 weeks.
How did he get here?
No, he just got his hip replaced.
He just walked into court.
Yeah, he did that 2-3 weeks ago. So
What
he's-
difference does it make? They asked you to leave the property. How long have they been asking you to leave the property?
Scott told us that we didn't have to leave. Perry's the one that said.
Scott doesn't own the property. His father owns the property. Am I hearing that right?
That's correct.
The owner of the property wants your camper off their property. What's your problem?
Nothing.
When are you going to leave?
As soon as we can.
What does that mean? You start your motorhome and you go. And you go to a motorhome camp and you plug in someplace else.
Our motorhome is not starting. That is the problem.
No, that's your problem.
Yes, that is my problem.
That's your problem. You can't squat on somebody else's property because you got a problem. They want you to leave, and they want you to leave for a reason, and this is part of the reason, because he dropped off his dog a week before, in mid-May, according to you, a dog came on the property that doesn't belong to you and took away chickens or ducks that also don't belong to you. So far, I have that right?
Yes, you do.
And they came back and forth, these dogs, for a while. How long? A week, 2?
Just 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
What 2 days?
pretty sure it was May 27th and May 26th.
26th and 27th.
Yes, the first day he took a duck.
I don't care what he took.
Okay.
That's not relevant. They weren't your ducks. They belonged to them. They weren't your chickens, and it's not your house. It's not your property. So what you did on the 30th is, according to you, dogs came back on your property. A dog came back on your property on the 30th that you had seen taken the ducks and the chickens before. That's what you say.
It was actually a misunderstanding because the neighbor had a dog exactly like his, and that was the dog that was doing it. And I made a terrible mistake, and it really went further than it should have. I shouted for the dog to stop, and it did not.
Bottom line is, you shot a dog. You shot the dog multiple times.
With the BB gun. The BB
Would
gun.
you like me to do that to you multiple times and then try to say to you, you know, it's just a BB gun. Just stand there. Don't be a sissy. It's just a BB gun. It can only sting you.
And later today,
Your lawyer said, well, let's rattle the cage a little bit. Tell her she can't take the boy to Japan. That's what you say happened.
Michael and Perry Butler claim their neighbors, Michael Welch Jr. and Lisa Welch, owe for vet bills. Michael Jr. says he shot their dog while protecting the other animals on the property.
You shot a dog,
With the BB gun.
his dog, injured the dog, this dog that wasn't doing anything, and there were over $4,000 in surgical bills because you made a mistake.
Yes.
So what are we doing here? Why didn't you take care of the medical bills?
Because we don't feel like we should have.
Just a second. I don't care about you.
Yeah, I didn't take care of the medical bills because I didn't feel like I should have to be put the whole bill on me.
Let me ask you this question. I wasn't holding the gun with you, right?
No.
Sarah Rose, she's sitting here, you never saw her before.
No,
She
no.
wasn't holding the gun with you.
No.
Now, your mom didn't say to you, shoot the dog. Did your father tell you to shoot the dog?
No.
So you did that all by yourself? Just answer my question. That requires a yes or
No,
no.
I
You
did not
shot
do
the
it all by
dog all
myself.
by yourself.
Well, yes, I shot the dog myself.
Right.
Yes.
So now that you say you shot the dog yourself, you shot the wrong dog, right?
Yes.
You had no right to shoot any dog, but this dog certainly hadn't been on your property before because it had only been dropped off the night before. This was a visiting dog. Let's say instead of a visiting dog, he dropped off his twin boys, and they would come on the property, chase the ducks and chase the ducks and chase the ducks, and then they would go home. And then another kid that was pretty much the same size as those kids came on your property, and you thought that that kid was the one that was torturing your ducks, stealing your chickens, so you shot the wrong kid.
No, I wouldn't do that
Why not?
because that's a child.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think that shooting somebody else's property, attacking somebody else's property, and you shot the dog multiple times.
With the BB gun. And the BB
Would
gun.
you like me to do that to you multiple times and then try to say to you, you know, it's just a BB gun. Just stand there. Don't be a sissy. It's just a BB gun. It can only sting you unless you get it in the eye or unless you get it in a vital organ.
I wasn't shooting at vital stuff. I was shooting at the body of the animal. I wasn't trying to shoot at its head or its eyeballs or anything like that.
Then you say, I'm sorry, I made a terrible mistake. I will take care of the vet bills because I made a mistake. It's my mistake. Why are we here?
I understand. You're right.
Perfect. When are you moving off the property?
As soon as I get back there.
As soon as you get back there. How far away is it?
I'd say about 3 hours away. It's in North Palm Springs.
Fine. You have a car?
My car is broken. That's why I'm still there. It's because my car is broken.
How long has your car been broken?
Probably about a little bit over 9 months.
Other than camping out on the property, what else do you do?
Also, I'm not on the property, actually. I'm off of their property in BLM land.
And where?
I'm on Bureau of Land Management land. I'm not on Scott's.
So you're on my land.
Probably.
I didn't give permission to be on my land. What are you doing on my land?
I don't know. I guess I was just hanging out there.
Can I see the vet bills, please?
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
what were you doing in prison?
I was in jail,
For what?
receiving stolen property.
What kind of property?
I was buying and selling cars and I had some I shouldn't have had.
Okay. And how long did you spend incarcerated?
3 months.
Okay. Do you work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I do boilers now.
When did you first tell them that you would like them to leave the property?
It was about 6 months ago. Michael Jr. is one I told to leave.
Just him?
Michael Sr. has been there for a while, and I've always got along with him. And then Lisa sort of came back onto the property, and so did Michael Jr., which I never wanted him there, but he just wouldn't leave.
You know what you did to the animal that you thought was
Apparently.
on your property that wasn't your own? Did you ever think that you're on property that's not your own?
Oh, I knew I was.
But you know you were. I'm trying to draw an analogy there for you, sir. You're missing it.
No, I didn't miss it. I understood what you're saying, but I totally understand now what is going on.
Well, get off his property.
No problem.
What are these three $50 receipts for?
Lisa agreed right after the shooting to pay the bill, and then she paid me two $50 amounts, which I gave her receipts for.
Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,156.48. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Well, I appreciate the fact that she ruled in the way that she did. I feel like we've gotten justice for Ruka.
When I called and told him that I had shot the dog, he mentioned a few hours later that it was his son's dog.
And also the fact that my grandpa can be reimbursed for, the hardship of having to take care of this.
Time to find another place.
I was under the impression, maybe you were too from the papers, that the ducks and the chickens and the other animals that the defendant was claiming to be protecting belonged to him. Only right now in court did we find out that they actually belong to the plaintiff. And so there is no defensive property claim that he could claim for his actions. But I think at the end of the day, he accepted responsibility. He knows he did the wrong thing, why it had to come in front of us to get solved.
Because he didn't pay the bill.
All right, on to the next.
On to the next.
Case number 4007, Rodriguez versus Vidari. All parties, please come forward.
Selma Rodriguez is suing her former daughter-in-law, Natalie Badari, for the costs of canceling a trip to Japan.
Miss Vidari, this is your former mother-in-law.
Correct.
Your former mother-in-law is suing you for the cost of a trip that she paid for your 14-year-old son, a trip to Japan that was canceled by you in a time frame when she could not get any refunds on the trip for your son. That's what your case is about, correct?
That's correct.
So I'm going to recite what seems to me to be sort of an agreed set of facts based upon your complaint and your answer. But I have to start with you. How long had you been married to her son?
We were married for 13 years.
And you have two children together.
Correct.
One is 14. What's his name?
Vittorio,
Who is this?
my son, Vittorio.
Step outside. I don't think he has to be here. Okay. Vittorio and
Mila,
how old is she?
she's 8.
And those are your only two children?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm in customer service for the automotive industry.
When were you divorced?
17, 18, it was finally official.
In what year were you divorced, sir?
2019.
And during the period of time of your divorce, after it was finalized, your mother-in-law has maintained a relationship with both of your children.
Yes.
And she's even traveled with one or more of your children.
Yes.
Independently
Yes.
of you and her son. It's outrageous behavior, in my judgment, for you to think that you are a sole parent, that you can take these two children on a whim to another state when they have an ongoing relationship with a custodial parent.
Selma Rodriguez claims her former daughter-in-law, Natalie Badari, canceled a trip with her grandson to Japan, costing her thousands in non-refundable fees.
So she's taken the 14-year-old away on vacation.
She has.
Tell me where she's taken him.
She's taken him to Alaska. She's taken him to Tennessee.
And I assume that the two children, since one of the children was here, that they live with you full time.
We split custody, so they're back and forth at my house and their father's house.
Now, when was it for the first time that your mother-in-law expressed an interest in taking your son on a trip to Japan?
Oh, I want to say
You don't remember, I'll ask her.
January
Of what year?
2024.
And there are several things that had to be done.
Yes.
One of the things that had to be done is that your son's passport had expired.
Yes.
And what did you have to do to update his passport?
We had to go to the post office and renew his photo and his
And
information.
you did that with him?
Yes.
And do you remember what month you did that?
I believe in January.
And that was all for the purpose of getting ready for this trip to Japan, which was supposed to take place when?
The departure date was May 28th.
Now, on what date did your lawyer tell you you shouldn't let your 14-year-old go to Tokyo?
That was back in April.
You have a boyfriend.
Yes.
How long have you had your boyfriend?
We've been together for 3 years now.
What does he do?
He's a veteran. He's retired.
He lives off a pension.
Yes.
So let me understand this. Your children have a close relationship with their paternal grandmother. They split custody with their father and you. And according to your answer, what you wanted to do was take your children and move with your boyfriend, who was unemployed, to Montana. That's what you said.
We're relocating.
You wanted to move with your boyfriend to Montana.
Yes, that's
not because he had a job there that he had to have, or because he had to have long-term surgery and recuperation, but because you liked it better.
Because of the cost of living, we can't afford to live here in California. So we're looking to relocate.
Why doesn't he get a job? You have a job. You've been divorced for a while. You've been able to sustain yourselves here. And if he's retired, let him get a job. So what happened is your former husband said to you, I'm not giving you permission to take my children, who I share custody with, from California to Montana. Does that sound crazy to anyone? And after it became contentious, and you're currently in court, is that right?
It's in the works.
It's in court. Your lawyer said, well, let's rattle the cage a little bit. Tell her she can't take the boy to Japan. That's in your answer, right?
Correct.
Well, you're going to pay for the trip that he didn't go on, that she paid and couldn't get a refund on. That's outrageous behavior. First of all, madam, it's outrageous behavior, in my judgment, for you to think that you are a sole parent, that you can take these two children on a whim, nothing but a whim, to another state when they have an ongoing relationship with a custodial parent, and think that that's okay. Where do you come off thinking that's okay?
To be honest, Your Honor, it's not off a whim. We have pre-approval, to...
You have what?
Pre-approval of a home loan to move to Montana. We have everything set, so it's not just on a whim.
Just a second. Who told you to get everything set? That's absolutely ridiculous. So you made these plans knowing that you have two children, 14 and 8, who have serious ties in California. Sometimes people, when they have visitation every other Tuesday, if the moon is full with a child, and parties remarry, and somebody is being sent by the Army to Montana, well, a judge may say, listen, if we make arrangements for them to visit that one day every Thursday when there's a full moon, okay. But your children have a parent here, the same kind of parent as you are. How would you feel if he said, you know what, I'm going to take the kids? I think that I have better opportunities for the children in Tennessee.
Before all this, we did have an agreement already on the schedule and everything with the kids. We just had to make it, go to court and get it approved and everything. It's not just off of the whim.
It is a whim, and it's not in the best interest of children. Your 14-year-old has grown up knowing both of his parents. And because you've got an unemployed boyfriend and want to make a change of life for yourself, you think that you can disrupt these children, leave them with their father. I'm sure his mother will be more than happy to help take care of them if he's working. You working?
I am.
In any event, how much was the cost of the trip?
$38.65.
May I see, please? Thank you. What's your last name?
Vidari.
Could you stand up next to your mother, please? Were you consenting to her moving your two children to Montana?
No.
When was the first time she told you she wanted to move the children to Montana?
December of 2023.
And what happened?
We just never really talked about it until about April of this year. And I told her, what I would feel comfortable with was if she already had a home, already had a job there, because I wasn't comfortable with the situation she was putting herself in. That didn't happen. She was angry.
Okay. Is it currently before the court, this application to relocate?
I have no idea.
You have it before court?
We haven't gone there yet, Your Honor.
You have a lawyer?
Yes.
Did your lawyer serve papers on him?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to suggest it's a monumental waste of time. Any judge worth their salt would deny your application to relocate. I would deny it. As a family court person for 25 years, I would deny it in a heartbeat. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $38.65. You're responsible for the cost of the trip. You had no reason to cancel it. We're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
This court is adjourned.
2 days before the departure date, she sent me a text telling me, I hope you realize that he won't be able to go with you because I'm not authorizing him to go.
Well, this was regarding the trip, and they made it into the Montana thing, which has nothing to do with the case. So,
She has really worked on severing the relationship with the children and me.
well, we can just, work this out and move forward.
Your passion for the best interest of the child definitely got to shine through a little bit in there. But really, it's true. Once you have a child, your own personal whims, desires don't come first anymore.
Since 50% of marriages end in divorce, and most marriages have at least one child, then you have to figure you're going to be tied to this person for at least 21 years. Because you may get tired of the mate, but you can't get tired of your kids.
No.
এদের যে মাঠে রাজবাড়ির মাঠে দেওয়া হয়েছিল করছি কি রে ভাই